It's a blessing to have you here with me tonight. Don't be shy, let the words speak for you, alright. Come on, step in the light.
I spent a lot of years thinking companionship meant having people around. People to call, people to text, people to sit beside. But I've learned that loneliness doesn't care how crowded the room is. I felt alone in relationships, alone in friendships, alone while surrounded by people who knew my name but never really knew me. So these days I choose quality over quantity. I'd rather have one person who listens than 10 people waiting for their turn to speak. I'd rather have one genuine connection than 100 shallow conversations because my heart survived enough. Enough disappointment, enough one sided love, enough pretending scraps for a feast. Now, I don't measure my life on how many people are in it. I measure it by how much peace they bring. And if companionship finds me again, I hope it arrives with honesty. I hope it arrives with depth. I hope it arrives ready to stay where my heart no longer had to beg to be understood.
Yes.
Sean Watson, it is through my written words that I am able to express my heart, mind, and soul. The creativity that flows through me makes me the king of poetry, and this is my piece, The Air We Leave Behind. Let love be the smoke that fills the air. Not the kind that chokes, but the kind that floats. Slow notes from soul throats curling through the cracks of closed hopes. Let it linger. Let it fingerprint halos on ceilings we once called limits. Let it rise like prayers with rhythm, like jazz in a glass, like laughter after the last storm finally passes. Let love be the smoke that fills the air. Because too many hearts been running on fumes. Too many rooms full of bodies but starving for blooms. Too many I do's that turned into I used to. Too many flames mistaking sparks for truth. But love ain't just fire. It's what survives it. It's the inhale after the wildfire. It's the choir hidden in the wire, the higher calling beneath desire. See, I want a love that rolls through the atmosphere. So sincere, even the fear starts disappearing. A love so clear it blurs every border. A love that takes disorder and reorders the order. Call it divine design. Call it intertwining vines. Call it yours and mine, finding the same line at the same fucking time. Because maybe that's the miracle. Now that we've met, but that every lesson, every blessing, every left turn, every bridge burned, every concern became a return to the place where our names learned how to rhyme. Let love be the smoke that fills the air. Let it season the silence, make the moments, ordinary mornings into morning opposites. See, grief and relief are cousins at the family reunion. One leaves, one arrives. Both remind us that we are alive, and love knows that. Love doesn't hide from the ache. It bakes beauty into brokenness, makes a masterpiece out of pieces, makes peace from pieces, makes pieces find peace because love is an open door that somehow teaches walls what they are built for. Not separation, protection. Until connection earns admission, until intuition becomes ignition, then watch the whole room glow. Watch cold shoulders become warm embraces. Watch hard faces soften the edges. Watch old grudges miss their buses. Watch forgiveness become contagious. Watch strangers start feeling familiar. Watch the unfamiliar become home. Because home ain't always a house. Sometimes it's a voice. Sometimes it is a choice. Sometimes it's somebody who sees your noise and still hears your music. Let love be the smoke that fills the air. The kind that gets in your clothes, the kind that follows you home, the kind that says, you don't have to carry that alone. And see, suddenly alone becomes all one because every ending contains a bend in it. Every wound contains wisdom, every distance contains a bridge hidden, and every heart contains enough room for another heartbeat to move in. Not possession, but presence. Not ownership, openness. Not perfection, participation. Showing up, growing up, glowing up, knowing love. See, Those vows dance, grow, glow, know, show like abundance itself, like wealth that can't be measured in dollars, only in hollers of joy, in children laughing, and old couples dancing, and friends still answering at 3 in the morning, in souls choosing loyalty when convenience starts calling. See, that's currency. Current C. The tide inside guiding you and me. See what I did there? Love doesn't show that too. Find double meanings inside simple things, turns rings into promise, promises into practice, practice into permanence, then reminds us even permanence requires participation. Let love be the smoke that fills the air. And see, let it slip. Silk soft through spaces between spoken things, let it sway. Sweet and slow like a saxophone seducing the silence, like moonlight making mischief in the edges of a curtain. Let it settle on skin, not touching, but teaching touch how to travel. Because some connections never need a hand, just a glance that lingers a little longer than language allows, a smile that says, stay, a stare that dares the distance to disappear. Love has always been a flirt, a smooth talker with a silver tongue and golden intention. See, that shit knows how to spark conversations and combustion, how to make chemistry feel less like science and more like surrender, how to turn tension into extension, how to stretch seconds until they feel like forever, and forever starts sounding like forward. The opening chapter, something worth reading twice. Let love be the smoke that fills the air. Let it weave through whispers and wishes, through bashful banter and breathless beginnings, through playful promises pressed between pauses, because sometimes the loudest longing arrives in a quiet room. Sometimes desire wears a disguise, shows up dressed as curiosity, leans a little closer, laughs a little louder, finds reasons to remain, and see, suddenly every ordinary object starts speaking another language. A candle becomes anticipation. A doorway becomes invitation. A dance becomes negotiation. A conversation becomes, well, something neither party wants to end. Love is subtle, supple, sneaking significance into simple situations, a connoisseur of closeness, an architect of almost, building bridges from butterflies, constructing cathedrals from chemistry, turning magnetic moments into meaningful memories, and the air gets thicker, not heavy, honeyed, filled with possibilities, the kind that make hearts hum, the kind that makes eyes wander before they wonder, the kind that makes two people stand in the same silence and somehow hear the same damn song. That's rhythm. That's the riddle. That's the reason love remains undefeated, because it doesn't force, it flows. It flirts with fate, dances with chance, takes coincidence by the hand, and calls it choreography. So let love be the smoke that fills the air. Let it curl around courage, brush against barriers, melt the frost from folded feelings. Let it be bold enough to bloom, soft enough to soothe, and sweet enough then even after it's gone, its fragrance remains. A trace, a taste, a tender temptation, a reminder that some fires aren't meant to consume us, they're meant to illuminate us. And somewhere along the way, we confuse being surrounded with being seen, confused attention with affection, confused quantity with connection, but love has never been a numbers game. Love doesn't count heads. Love counts hearts. Because 1,000 empty conversations can't compete with one soul that sits beside your silence and understands the language. That's quality over quantity. That's the difference between audience and companionship. The difference between being desired and being known, because some of us have spent so long in survival mode, we forgot we deserve more than forgot that our hearts weren't designed to be emergency shelters, they were built to be homes. And see, there's a difference. One teaches you how to endure the night, the other gives you a reason to open the curtains in the morning. See, survival mode taught us how to keep breathing, but companionship, real companionship, teaches us why. It reminds us that healing isn't always a solitary practice. Sometimes it looks like shared laughter, shared burdens, shared breaths, Two people sharing at the same storm and deciding neither one has to weather it alone. So let love be the smoke that fills the air. Let it settle in every place where loneliness built a throne. Let it wrap around every soul that learned how to function but forgot how to feel. Let it find every person who mastered endurance but still aches for belonging. And see, when they ask what changed, tell them it wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. It wasn't magic. It was the moment we stopped treating love like a luxury and started recognizing it as a necessity. Because in a world obsessed with more followers, more applause, more accumulation, the revolution is still quality over quantity. The miracle is still companionship. And the bravest thing a person can do after living years in survival mode is believe. Believe they deserve to be loved for more than their ability to survive. So if my heart stops tonight, don't measure my life by how many people knew my name. Measure it by how many people breathed easier because I love them. Because when all the smoke clears, when the noise disappears, when the performance is over and the lights finally go dark, the question won't be how much did you have? The question will be who felt left alone because you were there? And see, if nobody has an answer, then maybe the tragedy isn't death. Maybe the tragedy is spending your whole life collecting proof that you survived without ever collecting that you loved. Maybe the tragedy is mastering endurance but never learning surrender. Building walls so tall they block the very sunlight you were praying for. Maybe the tragedy is leaving this world with a heart full of unsent affection, unspoken admiration, unexpressed gratitude, love still trapped behind your teeth. So, again, let love be the smoke that fills the fucking air. Let it escape. Let it spread. Let it stain every room you've entered. Let it cling to every soul you've touched. Let it outlive your pulse. Let it outlast your fear because one day, the only thing left arising from your life won't be what you accumulated. It won't be what you accomplished. It won't be what you acquired. It will be what you released. And if the air is still sweet after you're gone, if somebody breathes deeper because you existed, if somebody loves themselves better because you loved them first, then death never really got the final word because the smoke is still here. The fragrance is still here. The evidence is still here, floating through the atmosphere, living in lungs that never knew your struggle, healing hearts that never heard your name, proving that the most powerful thing a human can leave behind is not a legacy carved in stone, but a love so liberating, so loud, so lasting that generations inhale it and call it air. Poem.
Sean
Yeah.
Welch.
What's good?
No one warned you about the smoke, how it settles in your lungs, leaving you unable to breathe, suffocating as you choke on promises and you can trust me. No one told me love can burn an entire house down while you're still standing inside of it. It rises, thick and heavy, eclipsing my moon, my sky sightless. In comes panic, but in the darkness arrived so many smiling stars. I traced them into constellations, gave them names, and let them guide me towards new beginnings. Where starlit paths met horizon began big, beautiful bridges and overpasses and exits promising connection. I traveled along all of them, so many road trips while searching for healing in chosen family, looking for sincerity in friends who wished the best for me. They love me. They love me. They love me. They loved me so much, they ripped my chest open just to see this clockwork heart, so they could see what made it tick, what broke it, what left it shredded and bleeding out on the floor. They loved my scars, loved opening them wider. They wanted to hear me rage, scream, and shout to the sky about everything that wasn't fair. But when things finally went my way, nothing but self love filled the air. So I retraced my steps back through the intricacy of intimacy, certain that somewhere within it was a path to freedom. Instead, I found crumbling roads, dead ends, roadblocks at every turn. The routes I thought would lead me home taught me how to wander. Surely there's something to be said for quality over quantity, for all these roads laid before me, so many leading nowhere. I miss the sky. I want to smell the sea of clarity. What have they done to me? I will set these bridges to burning, remove every path still carrying their energy. Let me be the island where only my soul can breathe. I love the freedom of seeing nothing where there was once everything. I'll light my own way. And when I'm ready to travel these roads again, if yours is worth taking, I'll see you again.
Wordsmith, show the work in your craft. We ain't perfection, but let the light of God shine soft through the cracks. Let your truth breathe, let your courage rise.